Okay, perfect. Tone Bell, this is your year.
Hey man, we doing all right.
Nah, you ain't doing all right. You
We,
host shows, you on things, you on different networks. Come on now. You have to give,
hey man,
if you don't want to give yourself the credit, I will.
hey man. Well, the 20. I'll get cocky in 2023. 2022, we'll keep it humble.
He's like, look, that's just my sophomore. I need to make it to what you call it, varsity.
Yeah, man.
Nice, nice. Well, I want to get straight into it. Drink Masters. And I have to make sure, the funny thing is that name of the show, I swear it sounds black because that S at the end, I'm like, it's like JC Penney's and stuff. I always think
Yeah, man. That kind of came out of. I mean, not really. It didn't come out of nowhere, but it was. I was doing a movie that should be coming out in a few months. I was doing a movie for Netflix, and my team calls me. And they go, what do you want to like? What do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I like the movies. I want to do another series, but I haven't like hosted something in a while. I've been doing a bunch of like live shows and I've done like some live award shows, but nothing that's televised. And I haven't done a hosting gig since I think I hosted last time I hosted on TV was I had a show on MTV back in like 2014 or something.
yeah.
And I've gotten some opportunities to host like I think they hit me for like oh man I don't even want to lie and say which award show it is, but a couple like live award
Yeah.
shows, either some BT, VH1, or something like that. But my schedule didn't work out,
Uh-huh.
and so I called we had a team meeting, and I was like, man, I want to host something, man, something fun. And a couple months later, this pops up, and I meet the team, and
Nice.
how they told me the kind of host they wanted, and I was like, come on, man, why are we talking about it then? Let's lock it up,
Let's like it
lock it
up.
up, let's do it.
The reviews are in and people are loving not only the show, but you. I think it's like the perfect marriage between somebody said when I was looking at one comment, right? And I always love the comments on reality TV because it really people could just only tell you the truth, right? And they were like,
Oh
man, I
yeah.
really love him in this role. I love this show. It's not corny, it's really fun. I wonder if he's making drinks on the holidays.
It definitely, man. It's one of those that like, you always nervous about it before because you don't know what the edit's going to look like.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I think it took us 10 episodes, but it took us 6.5, 7 weeks to shoot the show.
Yeah.
So you don't know how it's going to come out. You like, man, I ain't going. I know I feel like I look fly. I feel like it's going to be funnier than most of these competition shows. Until you just said it again, I always forget this is a reality show.
Right. Because it doesn't seem to say honestly, I think it's a really good feel good, but it also is one of the things where even the judges aren't overly like critical to the degree where it's just like, okay, you're just like picking at things, but they're more so like, hey, this is the technique, this is what should have been done. There's a difference
Right.
between being like the Simon Cowell of the show, between saying like, no, you got to be at your A game when you're making, because mixology is hard.
Yo, I mean, I'm talking. I did come home and start being like, let me. I bet you I can do. I'm just looking in the fridge for shit.
You're like, let me do an apple martini with some apple juice and
Like,
some.
let me fat wash these lemon pepper wings real quick and see if I can come up with a cocktail. Yeah,
Nice.
it's what was important to me is, man, because like what they don't show on the show is that your boy cries like every episode because when it's time to send somebody home, I done got to know them now.
Oh, really? You get
Oh,
sad like
bro,
that?
bro, I'm out here. My assistant called me. She was like, "You was emotional after so and so went home, wasn't you?" I was like, "Oh man, there's a you
Wait,
see,
you like the type where they were all your best friends after everybody's
oh
your
man."
friend.
Well, because and just a little like behind the scenes, they didn't. I guess traditionally, the host is more of a judge and kind of sticks with this group and doesn't get to know the competitors.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is different than a novelty thing. This is people's livelihood. This is what they do day to day. Um, Along with how they do the chefs and stuff, on shows like this. But it was important. It was important to me to like, hey man, I'm playing both sides.
Yeah.
I want everybody to win. You know what I mean? It's like if it was 10 comedians, I would go. Everybody should have a career after this.
Yeah.
So put your best foot forward. So I wanted to connect with them and go, hey man, I'm gonna send somebody ass home, but I want you to know I want you to stay, but somebody gonna have to go.
You're like
So it
bad
was,
cop, good cop.
yeah, man. So I was trying to be both and kind of be a figure like, hey man, we're gonna laugh a little bit, but it's gonna be some tears and it's gonna be, so I was trying to just play that um just kind of be an ally to both sides, and I think they did a good job with the edit because I think that shows.
No, definitely. I think it really shows it shows a different level of professionalism because you have a wide range of, entertainment credits in so many different areas of shows, stand-up, comedy, sketch, sci-fi, you name it. That's why I said these been your couple of years, right? But honestly, you've been on the Flash, you've been here, you've ain't it's just I just think it's really great because so many people want to break out in one thing and you've been able to break out in a couple things.
Mm,
And
appreciate that.
and we can even get back on to Drink Masters, but I got a really good sense about that. But I really give a good sense about who Tone Bell is at the end of the day, because where did this journey start and how did you go from comedian to actor, or was it your master plan? Did you say, look, I'm gonna get my foot in the door here and I'm gonna woo them out here?
Man, it's okay. So also, so I'm not as dumb as I look on the show sometimes.
It's like I'm just it's like I'm just goofy in real life. I'm just goofy. I
Yeah,
have
it's like, so I've been trying to for years. What I really wanted to, I mean, so there is a part of my plan that did say there's a part of me that wanted to go. I, Eddie Murphy and Bill Bellamy, and that you don't see sexy and funny a lot,
yeah.
and I don't look like a traditional stand up in that sense of like, man, I'm good with women, but also, hey man, I ain't trying to take your girl, but be funnier. You know what I mean? But there's a part of me that was like, there's something missing because I remember Bill Bellamy and I was like, oh, that dude is fly, and Eddie Murphy was fly, and Jamie Foxx fly, and women like him, and you can be funny and like an attractive dude at the same time, and you don't, I don't know one right now that's like pick that lane, right? I mean, and I mean, there's plenty of friends I got who we do get those opportunities, but it's like, what is it going to be? And I think hosting this show kind of really put it back there. So
Yeah.
um, that's what I wanted to do. So I was corporate America, working for Anheuser Busch, so that also kind of came into play when it came for me hosting this show. So there's a lot of techniques, and in that world of hospitality and the beverage industry that I had 7 years of knowledge about. So there are some questions and some things within the show where I do know the answers to them and I know how this process works, but it's how do I make somebody at home feel not dumb for not knowing
Nice.
and then jump back into it. So also to me to go, man, I hope the editor don't make me look real dumb and go, can I look like it's a goofy question, but oh man, that's a question I would have asked.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
so yeah, there was like if I'm gonna be, pretty sharp in this, then I can teeter on the information I don't know to make sure that people at home get fed it and go, I don't feel stupid either. So yeah, so I was trying to balance that out. But yeah, so I mean, it definitely was a part of my plan. It's like I've always liked hosting. I was hosting stuff in college, and I mean, I started off. I mean, I think my first. Actually, I just kind of revisited this. I was talking to some friends and didn't realize that I had been doing TV since I was like 12. But I forgot about that shit. To be honest with you, I was on a public access kids show called Kids Barn
Oh wow.
um, back when I was growing up in Decatur, man. So like it was, and I kind of totally slipped my mind. Like, oh shit, on TV kind of early. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't well known, you know what I mean? But it's out there. It's out there somewhere. So I've been doing that and in college and hosting and throwing parties and all that kind of stuff. And then did corporate for 7 years and then kind of started stand up because just, something theater and in college, after college, and then going to corporate. Like I got to eat first,
Yeah. Definitely.
and then doing stand up at night while I got a corporate job during the day.
Wow.
And then at I think I was 28, I rolled the dice and I was like, man, I got to go to LA because if I don't do it now, I ain't trying to go at 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I've been chipping away at finding my niche. You know what I mean? It's and my sense of humor and who's my audience. And I think this show really does help with my level of humor, my style of humor.
No, definitely. And I think one of the things that you said earlier, which is great because you are very cognizant of that. You know, when we see a lot of these shows, especially when it comes to like food, singing, or dancing, you have judges and hosts who come from this background, right? So they're very critical and they use all these terminologies where we sit here like, what does that mean? What
Right, right.
high yard, 1/4 of a brick. Like you be sitting here like, man, now I don't. But you know, you asking these questions, even if you know the answer, or even if you know something of it, you're conscious of the viewer. And I
Right.
think that's so important as a host because it's like, well, I know it was also means you're very methodical, which people might not get off back because it seems like, man, he's kind of green to this, but you're really looking like this may look simple, but there's something in there that they need to know about. So let me ask this question so that the
Oh yeah.
audience has a better experience. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and really learning in real time. I mean, you're watching. I mean, I go to bars all the time. I mean, I was at several last night.
Was it your birthday?
Oh man, I just caught up with some friends. I'm in New York shooting something else right now, so I'm just out in the city and living. But um, I just watching the process. And what's cool is I love the frustration of some of the comments right now, like, oh, why would it take 90 minutes to get a drink? You see that. You see that, but and then you go, that's not a bad question. But then you watch somebody take spices and fruits and herbs and distill them down and make a simple syrup and use like molecular technology. And then when it does take somebody 12 to 15 minutes to make you a cocktail, you go, oh, they did a lot of this prep work 2 hours before the bar opened to make sure it only took 15 minutes to get you a cocktail. I mean, yeah, you can get you a Captain and Coke, or you can get this pomegranate uh, sun-dried tomato with dill pickle shards, and then you're like, man, this should taste amazing. Like, how did it happen? Somebody took weeks and months to figure out this recipe that works every time, and so like I think it's interesting in that because we do it with food.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I can put this steak in the oven, or I can flambe it, or butterfly it and roast it over. We can do it on charred and on the grill, or how it's so many ways you can prepare something. I think majority of the people really got the concept of seeing people's passion and their flavor palette and mouth feel
Yeah.
and all these different terms that how many people I've seen say mouth feel since this show came out.
Black people too.
Because I mean, I do look different right now, but with the people that do recognize me when I'm in the bar now, they're like, "Tone, the mouthfeel of this cocktail is." I'm like, "Man, shut up! You learned this shit 6 days ago."
You still don't know what it really means. It's like say there's that a vermouth on there, and you'd be like, "Look, you never, ever, you don't even know how to make it."
All day.
Man, that is amazing. That's so funny. How was it prepping for this? Because when you're prepping for different roles, it's different when you have your sides, you just have to just go in there.
Man, I had finished a movie. That's the crazy part. I finished a movie. That's one reason why I really didn't have my beard. Is I was shooting my first action film in New Mexico,
Oh, nice.
and I got back to LA. I got back to LA like I don't know, maybe a couple days before Halloween last year, and then because let me tell you something. This don't nobody know this, by the way. They took about 4 months to give me this job. I had talked to them in like June, and then October they're like, "All right, we'll do it." And I got back to LA. I was mad. I was like, "Tell them I don't want it."
You was like, y'all play too hard to get. Like, look, I'm not.
I was like, "I'll walk away from this relationship and get the hell out of here." And then they called, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it." Uh, but I got back to LA like the 26th of October, something like that. And then they called like the 28th and like, hey, we start filming November 4th. And so I packed right back up, and then they shoot this show outside of Toronto. So I went from New Mexico, being there like 6 weeks, back to LA for like 4 or 5 days, and then pack up my life again and go back to just outside Toronto, shoot this for 6, 7 weeks. And then, but yeah, it was like, there was no prep. It was no prep. I mean, it really like it was a very hard thing because there's no teleprompter. People think it's teleprompters on this. There's no teleprompter. There's no there's a loose idea of um, the structure, the body of the show, and then it's kind of just me. Somebody's kind of feed me where we need to go next, and it's up to me in real time to figure out how to facilitate the show. So it was brand new for me, man, because I got there like, so I need the font to be on the teleprompter. They're like, oh no, Tom, we don't have a teleprompter. I go, how the fuck I'm gonna know
What are we doing?
what? No rehearsals. It was I mean,
It
the
was
only
like
thing,
interaction.
only prep I got was the only thing I really wanted to do was I'd been to every city where one of the contestants was from. Stand up brought me there. So like I got a story from every city in the country. So I went around the table, met everybody. Oh, I'm from St. Louis. Oh man, my family from St. Louis. Oh, I'm from Nashville. Oh, bro, like Nashville over off 3rd Street. I'm from Boise. Man, Boise, dude. Like, have you ever been to this restaurant in Boise? I'm from San Francisco. Bro, I used to live South City. Little Luke's sandwich. I mean, so I got to, and kind of just brought them in to go, yo, man, have a good time. Yes, it's TV and I know it's your life, but we going to have fun. That's the only prep I got a chance to do. And that's something that I told them I wanted to do. So, nah, bro, I was out there butt naked for like the first 3 episodes.
Oh man, that is too funny. I love to hear that. Oh, because we never know. These are like some amazing behind the scenes stories that really help us understand, what's going on, where these things are taking place. So, switching gears, where'd you really get this start in LA that like really propelled you, because we can watch all these different shows, right? And stand-up comedians are always trying to break in, and then people are trying to break into acting, but you've been able to do both in such a beautiful way.
I mean, that's a hard question, man, because I got to LA and my story is different. And yes, I got friends who have been doing this less time than me that are more famous than me, and people that I know who have been doing this longer than me that are still chipping away at their career, and both are super talented, right?
Yeah.
But I got to LA in like August of 2011, and in 3 weeks, man, I booked like a national commercial, and
Nice.
then right after that, I won this NBC. I don't know if it exists anymore, but I think I did either the 10th or the 11th round, or I'm sorry, anniversary of Stand Up for Diversity, which is a non-televised stand-up competition through NBC Universal. And so, but Deion Cole did it. Brandon T. Jackson, Eric Andre Hannibal, like plenty of people that you know,
Mm-hmm.
especially now. I think Clayton English. I mean, a bunch of cats, bunch of super talented people. And I won that in 2011, going into 2012. And by then, I had done Single Ladies, and I ended up on the show Whitney on NBC in like 10 months. Bro, I moved to LA, and I'm a regular on a show in 10 months, which is not a regular thing.
Not at all.
And
Like,
so now I'm like, I'm in the game, but I'm like, I don't even know. I'm treading water because I'm like, is this a fluke? Is this
yeah.
I can't make people think I don't know what I'm doing? And then that I've been doing stand up for like at that point 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then because I'm on the show, and then I'm good at it, but I'm like, then they're like, oh, you should tour. And I'm like, I got like 30 minutes of material. They're like, go figure it out. So I'm on the road, and I mean, it's people I'm fans of in certain cities that are opening for me, and I'm like, these niggas. I'm sorry, these
Oh, it's no problem. We're good. We're good here. It's all
I'm like,
unapologetically raw and black.
they. I mean, it was one of the best lessons because they killing me on stage.
Yeah.
So I had to grow quick, and I'm doing on the job training, and oh, bro, it was like it's one of the best experiences because I'm watching people I'm fans of going before me, so I got to keep up if nothing else, and so I chipped away at that. So I'm doing TV, hosting a little bit, but I'm still doing 30 weeks on the road a year. So when I'm not shooting, I'm in Kansas City, I'm in Houston, I'm in Nashville, I'm in St. Louis, I'm in Pittsburgh, and then come back and like go do 13 weeks of a TV show. Then I'm like, cool, no rest, get back out there, go do another 30 weeks. And it was, bro, for like 6, 7 years, that's all I did. Oh, I'm doing a movie, cool, go do that. And so I ain't playing the violin. I'm very happy about the work I put in. But it was a nice, very hard grind. But I appreciate all of that.
Nice. How and you know, and I love how you say you're not playing the violin because it definitely my thing was gonna next is how do you find that mental break, that self-care? Because people don't understand in the industry, your work isn't a 9 to 5. Your work is away from home, your work is away from friends, all your normal, you know what I mean? It's almost like if like when people are in the Navy and the military, right?
Yeah.
When they deployed, people don't understand how does that feel to be on the road and be sleeping in places that aren't your own, so how did you
It is lonely, but it's always stressful. It's lonely. It's you get to that moment where you start going, am I only this?
Yeah.
And it's tough, bro. Like I was shooting a pilot for ABC top of 2020, March 12th, 13th, whenever that day was. And then, the news starts up,
Yeah.
right? We start hearing the NBA I was like, oh nigga, we going home. And everybody's like, dude, like here's something crazy. I'm shooting this, me and my friend Angelique Cabral, Kelly Ripa, we're doing this pilot, and during the meeting, they're like the NBA said they not playing during this, and we doing a photo shoot because it's me and Angelique. We're like the stars of the show, and Kelly Ripa's there, and I was like, they're like, oh no, we're gonna shut down for like 2 weeks, and everybody got that story of like the 2 weeks, right? Everybody got that, and my 2 week story is I grab a trash, I go to the crafty dude. I'm like, you got a trash bag? He's like, what's up? I go, I'm about to take all this food. And they're like, Tone, what are you doing? I go, y'all think this shit gonna be 2 weeks? I just start laughing like a villain. Y'all ridiculous. And I start putting bagels and cream cheese and fruits and snacks and all this shit in this bag. And they're like, are you really taking all this? I go, we not gonna need this. This shit I'm like, I'm gonna eat this over the next 2 weeks and I'm gonna freeze some stuff. And I was like, we gonna be at home for a minute.
Yeah.
We ain't never seen no shit like this. I go, when the last time the NBA said they're not gonna play? Man, give me that trash bag. And I filled up, and that's the first time I unpacked my bags, like a few weeks into it, because my suitcases were always by the door. I never did. I unpacked them, took to the dry cleaning, packed them, repacked them, back on the road. That's the first time I had never, and that's when I got my break. I had not put my suitcases in a closet in like 8 years.
Wow.
They was always sitting right behind my couch because it was always like, all right, once you're done with this, you pick them back up, you going, you on your way out. And I had not had to walk around. Like that's such a crazy thing. I was so used to walking around my suitcase around my couch because it was always just sitting right there like a end table.
Yeah. Like an ottoman.
And I was like, oh shit, I got space right here. I was just so used to walking right around it, and I put them in my closet. Like my suitcase, I don't even know where to put my suitcases because they've never had a place not right next to the door, right next to the couch. And that was like my first break for real. And then that's when I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna only do a certain number of dates a year. So that's why I haven't really been on the road like that. I mean, I've done a couple this year, but now I kind of just go where I want to go versus taking everything that's offered to me.
Nice. I love that. I love that the pandemic, because it did help a lot of us kind of like sit and reevaluate the intentionalities of our life,
Yeah.
really figuring out what matters. Because one thing is it helped us really sit and go, some people, that's why a lot of divorce rates went up, because we get so busy, you don't even realize that Tone is just busy, but not productive. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's a beautiful thing. I don't know why I just said, and that's. But no, that's amazing. What do you feel is something you would love people who are getting in this industry to understand about it? Because they want to be like you, right? They want to work. They want to, we all have this mindset, this capitalistic, like to be at that next level, I need to say I'm ready to sacrifice and work 60 hours a week.
I would say absolutely do that. I would say journal it, right? I mean, that's what my stand-up is. I mean, it's really just a journal. It's really just almost like a diary of, because I date my notebook. I put where I am in that time in it, so I know where I was. Anything that's funny to me, I transfer it into this notebook and I write down so I can go back to that feeling, so I can go back to that moment in time. But I do think it takes. That's why the money is good, because you are sacrificing yourself, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Because anything you really want to do, you're willing to do that for it. So I don't think that's. I mean, I think kind of going inward crazy is necessary so that you can break yourself a little bit to go, all right, now what do I really want? You kind of have to have that
Yeah.
to
Right.
go, nope, this ain't it for me. But you gotta roll them dice to figure out what you are willing to do for it and what you don't want to do for it. Because I mean, it's difficult, man. You know, I'm 40 now. I ain't got no kids, and I look at. I mean, I'm probably about to be that 60-year-old with a 5-year-old.
With the wife half your age.
You know, if that happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, but also I got friends who go, oh man, I wish I'd have done what you did, and then I go, I wish I would have done what you did. So like everybody got a different path. You know, you got to trust God with that. It's where would I be if I didn't do this? I mean, I can wonder, but I'm like, I'm so glad I left Atlanta, man. And I love my city. I'm from Decatur and I love Atlanta, but I'd be in so much trouble if I was still in Atlanta.
Why you say that?
I can't be back. I can't be back. When I pop it, unless I'm working, I'm in Atlanta 2 days. I'm like, no, I got too much shit in Atlanta.
Not the hookah capital of the world.
I can't be out there. I can't.
Nice. I love it. I like to be conscious of our time. So I just have one last question before I let you go.
Yeah.
Now that Tone has this new outlook after the pandemic, and really the outlook is just about balance. What's for him is for him. What's not for him is not for him. So what's next? How do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh man. I want Steve Harvey job. I do like look, let me dress fly, let me do Family Feud. Steve, when you hang that shit up. When Steve hang it up. Because I do enjoy, I think I never knew it could be that split. I love comedy, I love stand-up, I love a live audience, and I love playing a character, and I love the a segmented amount of time, a chunk of time to do this thing and then try something else. So yeah, I mean, there's I want to do more action movies. I want my own show. I'm kind of working on some stuff. I mean, I've had the opportunity a couple of times and we've been chipping away at it, but I do love this hosting world is real fun. And
Nice.
and I would say number one over anything is like, I'm glad that people are responding well to it because I fell in love with it. And if you like me doing it and I like doing it, why don't we just keep doing that?
Yeah.
So I'm really, it's hard to say because you're like, is hosting a show a moniker of success? Because then you got movie stars, you got TV stars, you got, and it's you're like, is hosting up there? And I think it can be.
Yeah.
It can be. I don't imagine that I would. People keep asking me what I do late night TV, and I recently, my manager sent me this list of like people who could take over for Corden or Trevor Noah, and I'm on that list. And I go, I don't know if that's what I want to do, but it's nice to be in that conversation.
Nice.
So, but I do think hosting is hopefully I'm still hosting something in 5 to 10 years. I mean, I'm enjoying it.
Nice. Well, I love that. Well, thank you so much for this time and opportunity. I enjoyed myself, and I always hope the other person has enjoyed themselves as well too.
Oh man, it was a great time. Great time.
Okay, no, thank you so